Welcome to week 2, part 1, our calories and macronutrients slideshow. Okay, before we get started with this, I need you to sit yourself down with 15 minutes of time set aside, a bit of quiet, and a pen and some notepaper ready to go as well. This video is going to take you through, as it says, all things calories and macronutrients. It's going to educate you on what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how it's going to impact your body so you can use it moving forward. Okay. So make sure you've got that time. It's the end of week 1. We've just moved into week 2. You're probably feeling a bit sore. You're a bit tired. But at the same time, you would have got some great results when you sent those measurements into us yesterday. You should be feeling really motivated, ready to keep moving forward. What we need you to do now is, like I said, take some time whenever you're ready to and go through this video. Take some notes, pause it when you're ready, and we'll crack on from there. Okay, so let's get started. Calories. They are simply a unit of measurement. Okay, they're how we measure the amount of energy we put into our body. Okay, so we've got the bit of writing on the left here, excess calories. So if we put more calories into our body than we burn, we will gain weight. Okay, so if you put more bricks onto a building than are currently there to maintain the building as it is, it will grow in size. Okay. Balanced calories. So if you maintain the amount of calories that you put in, so if you put in the same amount as what you're putting out, burning every day, doing whatever you're doing, you'll maintain your weight. So if you have a building that's got half built, if you don't add any more bricks to it, but you don't take any away, it will stay the same size. And finally, calorie deficit, whereas most of us will be on this program, we are burning more than we are putting into our body. So you've got a building, if you're taking more bricks away from the building than you're adding to it, the building will shrink in size. Okay, it is as simple as that. That's a good analogy we like to use with the building. So on the right, we've got 1200 calories. What that looks like, you can see it's not a terrible amount of food there. However, any lower than that is not sustainable, is not healthy. We do not want you any lower than 1200 calories per day. Okay, and we need to address that straight away if you are under 1200 calories. Okay, so moving on, controlling that calorie target. So you're all set up on MyFitnessPal. We're all going forward with that. We've got some great screenshots already. You would have sent us some yesterday. What we have got here is we just need to ensure that your calories are not too low. As I said before, no lower than 1200. Most of you, some of you won't be near that number anyway, but any lower than that, our body will not be able to sustain the amount of work we're putting it through at the moment. Will not be able to sustain the exercise. We will get ill, and we will not be able to continue on this program. Okay, as simple as that. We're looking for, at the end of this 6-week program, some long-term weight loss for you guys. Okay, so this weight loss that we're currently on, physically, is not really sustainable. We will hit burnout at some point. That's why we only run it for 6 weeks. But what we want to do is educate you in the long run so you know what you're doing moving forward. Then we look into calories as them being the main factor for weight loss. However, they are not the main factor when it comes to changing our body composition, so our body fat and our muscle mass. We'll look into that in a second. But then we've got two great images here. We're looking at roughly 3,500 calories are in 1 pound of fat. So we've got what 1 pound of fat is. So if you lost 1 pound this week, definitely don't be disappointed. Look at what that looks like. That's 1 pound that you haven't got to fit into your clothes or carry around with you this from now on. But moving back up to that top image, if we can put our calories, if we burn 500 calories a day, more than what we're putting into our body, then as a result we will guarantee to lose that 1 pound of fat every week. Okay, so that's basically as simple as it is. We go back to that other slide, we look at calories in compared to calories out. Depending where that works out, whether we have excess calories, balanced calories, or in a calorie deficit, will affect whether we gain weight, maintain weight, or lose weight. Okay. Now, moving on, macronutrients. So, like I said, we're all on MyFitnessPal. We're hopefully all tracking our macronutrients of our food. We're looking at 40% carbohydrates, which is our petrol that we put into our car engine. Keeps us running, gives us energy, lets us go. 30% protein, that's our mechanic, that's what fixes our muscles, that's what fixes us when we break down, when we damage our muscles, which is what we're doing when we train. And then we've got 30% fat, that's our engine oil, that's what keeps us ticking over, which keeps us healthy, which keeps us, prevents us from getting ill. Okay, these are the keys to changing our body composition. Okay, what we've got on the right here is a great image. The fat, hopefully you've got some great examples in our handbook, but you've got some examples of what fat would be. So you're looking at roughly, again, 30% there. Then you've got your protein there, 30%. And then you've got a lot more carbohydrates. But what this actually shows is that the vegetables are also counted as carbohydrates. What we say in this program is, yes, they are classed as carbohydrates. They definitely are. However, if you wanted to get the same amount of carbohydrate value, the same amount of calorific value from broccoli as you do from some bread, you'd probably have to eat about 2 full trees of broccoli to counteract like 3, maybe 4 slices of bread. Okay, so you can get away with having a lot more vegetables than you would if you were going to have a traditional carbohydrates, your rice, your pasta, your bread, things like that. Okay, so like I said, 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat. The carbohydrates give us energy. They're our petrol. They keep us going. 30% protein, that's our mechanic. They're what fix us every night when we go to sleep. They're what maintain the muscle that we have. And then 30% fat, they're what keep us healthy, keep us moving forward. So we're looking at our final notes now. What we really want to focus on still is that the calorie target, that's what's going to impact our weight. Our macronutrients, they're what are going to impact our body composition and maintaining that fat. Let me just jump back. It is physically impossible for you to gain muscle while you are losing weight. Okay, it is physically impossible to gain muscle while you are losing weight. However, your body fat percentage can increase while you are losing weight. The reason for that is, for example, you start the program 100 kilos, 50% protein, 50% of that is muscle, 50% of that is fat, just for example. What happens over the 6 weeks is you lose 10 kilos, just for example. 2 kilos of that is muscle, because what I've done really well over the last 6 weeks, for example, is I've really done my macronutrients on point every day, 40% carb, 30% protein, 30% fat. So I've lost very minimal amounts of muscle because my mechanic has looked after my muscle and kept it fit and healthy and kept hold of it. But as a result, my body's let the fat go. So I've lost 8 kilos in fat. What would happen is when you then get on the scales, although your weight's come down and you actually haven't gained muscle, your muscle mass percentage, the composition of your body that is muscle, will have gone up. Because before you were 50 kilos of muscle, 50% muscle when you're 100 kilos, now you're 48% muscle while you're 90 kilos. So the actual percentage amount will have gone up, and as a result your body fat percentage would have dropped drastically. Okay, so that's that one. It's a little bit tricky to get your head around for some people initially, but take a little bit of time on it, go through it a few times, and you'll be able to work that one out. Finally, final notes. You're probably feeling sore, you're feeling stiff. We're going to go into this DOMS in more detail next week. DOMS is called delayed onset of muscle soreness. Okay, so you're probably suffering a day or two after training. It's not a bad thing. What we need you to do simply now, get yourself moving a little bit, whether that's a light jog or walk around the park. Just do something, and plenty of rest. Okay, plenty of sleep. That's the only time our body can physically get that mechanic out, get it working on our body, and get those muscles maintained and looked after. Okay, so that is that. Calories and macronutrients, stay on top of them, keep targeting them. Move on to week 2, part 2 now, where we're going to take you through MyFitnessPal and what those charts that you've been looking at all week actually mean and what they represent. Okay, thank you very much.